Hello and welcome to Whispered Legends. I am your storyteller, and I'm thrilled to have you here. Get ready to journey into tales of mystery, adventure, and the unknown. If you love stories that spark your imagination, you're in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a whisper. Now, let's begin today's tale. In 2017, a seasoned hunter, known for his expertise in the wilds of Komodo Island, set out for what seemed like a routine hunting trip. Komodo Island, an Indonesian paradise famous for its diverse wildlife and rugged terrain, is also home to one of the world's most formidable predators, the Komodo dragon. This massive reptile, the largest lizard species in the world, can grow up to 10 feet in length and weigh over 150 pounds. Although these creatures are typically not inclined to attack humans, their immense size, sharp teeth, and venomous bacteria make them incredibly dangerous, especially when threatened or provoked. The hunter had ventured into the deep forests and volcanic hills of Komodo Island countless times before. He knew the land, its rhythms, and its perils. That morning, as the sun filtered through the dense trees, he carefully trekked along a familiar trail, keeping a sharp eye out for wild boar, deer, or goat, the prey he had set out to hunt. Armed with his trusted rifle, he moved cautiously, aware of the island's many dangers. While the Komodo dragons were infamous for their predatory behavior, the hunter had never before had a close encounter with one. He was confident in his ability to handle the occasional threat posed by these creatures. But that day, as fate would have it, he would encounter a dragon unlike any he had seen before. As the hunter ventured deeper into the wilderness, the environment around him grew more hostile and untamed. The air was thick with the scent of wet earth, and the sound of distant wildlife echoed through the trees. With each step, the ground grew rougher, and the path less certain. The hunter's heart raced slightly, an innate sense of danger lingering at the back of his mind. He had always respected the Komodo dragons and understood the risks of the island, but he had never been afraid of the island's wildlife. That is, until he felt the sudden shift in the atmosphere. It was subtle at first, a slight rustling in the underbrush, a faint disturbance in the air. The hunter paused, his senses heightened, scanning the landscape. He didn't see anything at first. But then, out of the corner of his eye, he noticed movement, quick, deliberate, and enormous. Before he could react, a massive Komodo dragon, its skin a mottled mix of dark brown and greenish hues, lunged from the thick underbrush, moving with surprising speed for its size. The hunter barely had time to lift his rifle before the dragon was upon him. Its jaws opened wide, revealing rows of sharp teeth, and it struck with a force that sent the hunter sprawling to the ground. In an instant, the dragon's massive teeth sank into the hunter's leg, tearing through flesh and muscle. The pain was excruciating, and the hunter let out a startled shout, but before he could reach for his rifle, the Komodo dragon dragged him further down, its claws tearing at his side, adding to the injury. The hunter's first instinct was to fight back, but the power of the Komodo dragon's bite was overwhelming. The lizard's powerful jaws clamped down like a vice, its teeth designed to shred through flesh and bone. In the blink of an eye, the hunter realized that this was not a typical encounter. Komodo dragons aren't just large, they're capable of inflicting devastating injuries. With each shake of its head, the dragon inflicted more damage. Despite the pain, the hunter's survival instincts kicked in. He knew that he had little chance if he allowed the dragon to continue its assault. Gripping his rifle with all the strength he had left, he managed to bring it to bear on the dragon, pulling the trigger with a trembling hand. The sharp sound of the gunshot echoed through the forest, but it wasn't enough to scare the dragon away. The creature hesitated for a moment, giving the hunter just enough time to regain his footing. Adrenaline coursing through his veins, the hunter scrambled to his feet, but the Komodo dragon wasn't finished. It circled around him, its eyes cold and calculating, watching for any sign of weakness. The hunter knew that his time was running out. With blood pouring from his leg and side, he had to think fast. His movements were sluggish, his vision blurred from the pain, but he was determined not to die at the hands of the Dragon. He raised the rifle again, firing a shot that struck the dragon in the side. The dragon recoiled, momentarily dazed by the impact. The hunter, his body screaming in agony, used the opportunity to stagger backward, slowly distancing himself from the beast. But the dragon wasn't done yet. It advanced toward him once more, its mouth open in a low hiss. Another shot rang out. This time, the Komodo dragon, seemingly exhausted, battered, and covered in blood, the hunter stumbled backward, clutching his rifle. His mind raced, he had barely survived. The encounter had taken everything from him, his strength, his confidence, and most terrifying of all, his sense of invulnerability. He had been so certain that he could handle the dangers of Komodo Island, yet in the face of the dragon, he was reminded of just how small a human could be. The path to safety was long. Every step felt like an eternity as the hunter struggled to stay conscious. Blood poured from his wounds, and his vision blurred. His leg, where the dragon had bitten deep, felt numb, and his side burned with the sting of the cuts. But somehow, the hunter kept moving, driven by the sheer will to survive. He knew that if he didn't reach help soon, he wouldn't make it. After what seemed like hours, the hunter stumbled into a small village near the edge of the island. The villagers, startled by his condition, rushed to his aid. They called for help, and soon, a rescue team arrived, whisking him away to a medical facility. There, doctors worked tirelessly to stabilize him. The damage was severe, his leg was torn open, and the venom from the Komodo dragon's saliva began to spread through his bloodstream, causing a deadly infection. The hunter spent several weeks in the hospital, undergoing surgeries and receiving treatment for the venomous bacteria that had entered his system. The infection was serious, and it took every bit of modern medicine to save his life. His leg had been badly damaged, and it took months of rehabilitation before he was able to walk again, albeit with a permanent limp. But despite the physical scars, the hunter was alive. The encounter had left him physically broken but mentally unscathed. The fear he had felt in that moment of terror was gone, replaced by a deep respect for the creatures that lived on Komodo Island. His story spread throughout the island and beyond, becoming a cautionary tale for others. While Komodo dragons are not naturally aggressive toward humans, this incident reminded everyone of the dangers that lurk in the wild. The hunter had been fortunate, very few people survive an encounter like his. In the wilds of Komodo Island, the line between life and death is razor thin, and a single moment of vulnerability can change everything. The hunter's experience was a stark reminder that, no matter how much you think you know about the island, the Komodo dragon is a predator that commands respect. And for those who venture into its territory, it's always better to tread carefully.